tell you about my experiences in Lichtenberg. My father ran a bakery, and we had a truck for delivery of bread to the diamond fields, and we had a driver called Henry. Henry was a charming man, black gentleman, who could speak Yiddish even better than I could. He obviously learned from the Yiddish shopkeepers on the diamond fields. Henry taught me a lot, and as I grew a little taller, a year or so later, and I could sit on a cushion and see over the steering wheel, he taught me how to drive.
How old were you at that point?
I must have been 9, 10, not more than 11.
That's shocking, Issy, it's shocking.
The traffic inspector spotted this from time to time and reported to my father and said, "You better not let that youngster drive any further, otherwise I'll arrest you because I can't arrest him." However, my dad wrapped up a couple of loaves of bread and off went the traffic officer, very happy and no further trouble for a while. A little later, he was back again, threatening to arrest my father because I was now driving the truck again. And again 2 loaves of bread, and the trouble stopped.
Issy, can you describe to us what you saw when you were driving through those diamond fields?
You see big holes in the ground, and each digger or miner had a little plot which they either rented or purchased, and a machine which gravitated the soil, and the diamonds, the gravel came out in a spout. This was washed with clear water in a sieve and overturned onto a table, and with a little scraper they sorted and looked for rough diamonds, uncut diamonds. Talking about diamonds, I must tell you the story. Driving back home one day, driving back home, we often gave a ride, or a lift as they called it in those days, to people on the side of the road, thumbing a lift. And on one occasion, a chap stopped us, and we opened the back door and let him sit in the van. And just before we got back to the town, there was a banging on the cab. Henry stopped the car and he went to inquire what the problem was. And the chap said he wants to see the boss. Well, I was the boss.
But how old were you?
I was then 12. 12, or just before my bar mitzvah, 13. And Henry said, "This guy wants to see you." So I went to the back, and there was this fellow looking up to one side of the road, looking back the other. And when there was no traffic, he pulled out a little bag of, a little tobacco bag. And I can still see this in front of my eyes today. It was Springbok tobacco, which was a very popular type of tobacco in those days. Very smelly too. And he emptied this little packet, this little parcel of diamonds into his hand and offered it for sale.
To you?
To me.
Age 12?
Age 12, and I was the boss. However, I told him to put it back and wait until we got to town. When we got home, we drove into our yard, and I walked through to the front where my father was in the shop, tapped him on the shoulder, and he turned round and said, "What do you want?" So I said, "Somebody wants to see you at the back." He said, "What does he want?" And I said, "I don't know." My dad says, "All right, take over here," and I took over the front store, and he went back. And it wasn't long after, a minute or 2 or 3, and I got a tap on my shoulder, and as I turned around, my dad gave me a frost there that nearly broke my neck. And he beat me up and he said, "Don't ever do that again, otherwise I'll break every bone in your body." And then he gave me one more frost, one for not telling the truth as well. That was an extra one. He says, don't ever do those things again. Attempt to buy diamonds and always tell the truth. And that has stuck with me throughout my life. After several years in Lichtenburg, my parents moved back to Clarksdorp, where my father re-established a general dealer's store. And he survived until the age of about 75, when he had an acute attack, a heart attack, and died, and is buried in Clarksdorp. My mother, on the other hand, transferred to Johannesburg, where the family was mostly. My sister was living here, I was living here, and she passed on at the age of 91, 92.